Okay, so we're going to talk about the Power Hour binder, and I want to know how much free time you have during the day. Each day, how much free time do you have? Who has 2 hours? Who has 3 hours? Who has no hours? Who has maybe 15-minute pockets where you're like, oh, I could maybe do something right now. What should I be doing? Okay? All right. Now, how many of you make lists? Does anybody make lists? Are you list makers? And how many of you make a list just so you can cross things off? And how many of you say make a list so you can cross that off once you make the list? Okay, I'm just making sure we're all on the same page. So with our Power Hour binder, basically what it's doing is it's organizing your business. So everybody's looks different. This is what mine looks like. You can get a regular binder. You can get a 3-ring binder. It doesn't matter. What you want to do is you want it to fit your personality, because if it doesn't fit you, you will not use it. Okay? So the idea is that you're going to take your information for your business, you're going to put it all in one place. All right, so the very beginning of my Power Hour binder, it's actually a calendar. So I know when I go to June, I can turn to June and I can say, okay, what do I have this month? Now I don't have a lot in June because my May was so crazy that I never took the time to fill up my June, so that's what I'm working on now. So my June is not as full as I want it to be, but that just means that I have to do a lot of work in the next 2 days. But this is where I have all of my information. This is my calendar. Now, the reason I have it right here in the front is because when I get to work, I have my information right here in front of me, and I'm ready to go. Okay, so there's different things you want to have in your Power Hour binder. You want to have all of your potential hosts in your Power Hour binder. You want to have all of your hosts in your Power Hour binder because that's who you're going to host coach. Okay, you also want to have your potential consultants in your Power Hour binder, and you want to have your customer care information in your Power Hour binder. Okay, so when you have those things in there, let's say that you are trying to get the laundry done, get dinner going, and you're like, okay, washing machine is going, dryer's going, dinner's on the stove or in the microwave because we all have our bakers. I have 15 minutes. What can I do with my time? Grab your binder and you're going to go to one section. So my very first section, you can set up your binder however you want to do it, but this is the way I do it. Other people recommend different categories go in different order. The reason mine is in this order is because I never had any training whatsoever on a Power Hour binder until I was already doing this business for multiple years, and it's really hard to retrain your brain to fix things once you're already been doing it a certain way, okay? So my binder is smaller because I use my prize drawing slips for every single thing in my binder, okay? Other people, they have pieces of paper that they have a whole printout. We're going to email you all these printouts so you can do whatever works for you. But you can say, here's my host coaching list, here's my checklist for each host. So this was my host checklist that I used for years and years and years and years and years. And all it was my host and their phone number, and then I had their theme or their recipe, party date, and then when we had a web code on the old web, that was in there. Now we don't have a web code, now we have a direct URL on the new website, which is phenomenal. Then I would thank the host for booking. I would create a website for the host, invitations, mail the host packet, send the specials, host coaching 1, 2, 3 calls, add emails to my address book, thank guest email, thank host after party email, close and submit party, print receipt, mail receipt, contact after delivery. That's what I had on my old host coaching checklist. Now I don't have to do all those things anymore because our new web takes care of a lot of those things. So this form is a little bit old. There are certain things that I still want to know that I've done. I want to make sure I've contacted the host. I want to make sure they have their packet. I want to make sure they have their website, their direct URL on the website. All those kinds of things need to be done. But I don't have to have all of these. So mine's a little tiny bit different now of I have my hosts just listed. So this is June. I have my hosts listed. If it's a cooking show, they have a star. I know the date, what time, catalog show, when it's due. So this is my way of organizing my shows for this month. This is last month, just so you have an idea of how crazy it can get. This is what last month looked like, okay? So it's not necessarily that there's a right or a wrong way to do it. The idea is that you take your information and you organize it, Okay, this is why I'm showing you my example. When Rachel looks at my example, she'll be like, you crazy loon, how in the world do you run your business like that? Because she is organized in a totally different way than I am. So mine, I had another director who was sitting beside me, and I'm like, what do you have there? And she had this is what she had. And I'm like, what's in it? Let me see it. And I tore it all apart. I went through it page by page. I wanted to see what she had. And I was like, oh, because I had all of mine in our old calendar that they always sent us, and I had like things falling out, and I had, I was like, well, I want this to work, but it wasn't working for me because this then became my Power Hour binder. I didn't know I was using a Power Hour binder long before I had ever heard about it. So my first section is my host coaching section, because for me, I am a horrible host coacher. I'm constantly trying to improve myself on host coaching, and I'm thinking, if I look at them first, every single time I open this, I am sure to call people and host coach much better than if I do not call them, if I do not look at them. My next section is my potential hosts, okay? My potential hosts are in this pocket, and I have them divided by people that have actually said, yes, I do want to do a party, call me such and such time. I'm a summer person, call me in the summer. We're going to do a party in the summer. These are my maybes. These are the people that are like, oh, no, maybe, call me sometime. Those people annoy me, but that's okay. They eventually can do parties. So that green color code means yes, we're doing a party. It's a go. Okay? The yellow is a maybe. It's caution. I don't know if we're doing it or not. Okay? You can have a red hot paper clip in there for your red hot section. You can put that with your host. You can do whatever. These are people that I have a potential consultant that these people will do a party for her. They might not necessarily do a party for me. This, again, is my organization. You do not have to be as crazy as I am, but this is the way I organized because it worked for me. The next section I have are my potential consultants. So these are people that I don't have prize drawing slips for. I have them written down. I have my notes there. So you can see I scratch things out. Like after I've talked to them, I make notes, all that kind of thing. So my potential consultants are listed here. If I don't have the information for them, there's a list right here of people that I didn't have my prize drawing slip for. Then my next section is all my team stuff, which you all may not have a team yet, so you don't have all your team stuff in here. I actually don't have a customer care section because I am horrible. Maybe I'm not the bad at host coaching. I'm really worse at customer care. Well, now we know, right? All the deep, dark secrets of Missy, all in one spot. So the customer care, though, I will tell you is very important. There's a couple of reasons for that. What happens when Sandra's going to be my host, okay? So Sandra does a party for me, and all of you are her guests. And what happens if 2 days later I call you just to say thank you? What would you say? Okay. What did you say, Alice? That's nice. And then you're thinking, is that all she really called for? She just sold me stuff, and she only called to say thank you? And then 2 weeks later, I call you back. And I say, how are your products that you got at Sandra's party? What did you think of that deep cover baker? Did you use it yet? Did you take it out of the box? Did you get all the recipes? What's the first thing you're going to make in it? What questions do you have? What, et cetera, et cetera. Do you understand where I'm going with this second call? Okay? What might you answer then?
Nope.
I haven't taken it out of the box. What other answers might you hear?
Katie said, I love it.
I love it. Thank you, Katie. I knew I heard something. I love it. So has anyone ever talked to a customer and they said they love that product? Mm-hmm. What would your answer be to, I love it?
That's fantastic. Did you happen to order this? This is a great accompaniment.
Okay, you can do some cross-selling. You can say, oh my gosh, do you love it enough to have your friends over so that they can get one too? Do you want to show, teach them that awesome recipe that we learned at Sandra's party? So you can automatically go right into a booking call. All right? The other thing is, if they say, I haven't gotten it from the host yet or something like that, and you'll be like, oh, well, I'll call the host to make sure she, gets it to you in the next 2 days or whatever, but I just want to tell you about my monthly special. Okay? How many of you saw that the Trivets are on sale this month? How many of you saw the post I did on Facebook and it said you can get all 4? Because Anna was like, can I borrow this? I'm like, heck yeah, copy whatever I do. You can get all 4 for $20. Okay, so you can call, you can be doing your customer care calls and just say, I'm doing a host special, or you can do bundles like Denise did this past month, and you can say, it's going toward American Cancer Society. This is Feeding America. I mean, this is another great cause. So you're going to take this, you're going to bundle all the trivets together, and you're going to sell them for $20, and if they're local, you can say, and I'm going to do free shipping, because if you get 6 people that, you're like, oh, I paid $5.25 for all 6 people, it's a $20 order, and you put them all together, and you will pay the shipping, because it's not a big deal. But you're selling them that $20 order, all of a sudden you've got a party, because you talked to quite a few people, and they said, oh, give me 2 of those bundles, so I'll get one for each of my mother and my mother-in-law, or my mom and my sister, or, different people will want it for a different reason. But that's your customer care. And then you call them 2 months after the party. And again, you're following up with them and just saying, like, if you call them 2 weeks after the party and they end up booking, or they buy something, or, they, whatever, you have a reason to call them again in a couple weeks. If they did absolutely nothing, if you just called and left a message and said thank you, and then you called and left a message and said, I just wanted to see if you got your products, if you're using them, blah, 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 blah. 2 months later, you better be calling them and saying, I hope I get a chance to actually talk to you. I want to make sure you got your products. I want to make sure you're using them. I want to make sure you got them out of the box. I want, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so customer care calls are going to be really important. And I love our newsletters, because I feel like that's a good customer care follow-up, because I have people that'll email me and say, and it seems like every time they're emailing me out of the blue, my newsletter is below that email that they sent me. So Rachel, do you find that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Also? Yeah.
Yep.
So because I'm not that great at customer care, they get at least the newsletter from me. So it's not like I was like, oh, nice to meet you, thank you for your money, and I'll never talk to you again. So it's a nice little follow-up. So how many of you get an email from another place that you shop from? Maybe another direct sales company, maybe Kohl's, anybody, right? And so what happens when you get that email? Sometimes you buy something, and sometimes you delete it, because it depends on what mood you're in. But if I have already called you and just said thank you, and that's the only thing I said, I didn't say anything else, are you more likely to read my email the next time you get one? Probably, because you're like, oh, it's from Missy, and she just called to say thank you. How sweet is that? Can you believe it? Because who does that? Did Target ever call and say thank you for making a purchase? Walmart?
Only on the credit card.
Yeah, only when they messed up all the credit cards, right? Like, oh, thank you for your purchase. We have to give you a new credit card now. Right? But, honestly, think of all the places that you shop. Who has called to say thank you? Think of all the direct sales companies out there, and maybe you went, like I have Origami Al, Rachel's Origami Al. Has that consultant ever called to say thank you? Anybody have any other products, you don't have to mention them, but that you might have gotten from another direct selling company? Has anyone ever called to say thank you? Can you just think for just 2 seconds what that would do for your business? So Evelyn took the time when she first got started, and she wrote thank you notes to everybody who purchased anything from her. And what was the result of those thank you notes? What did Nathan's aunt do?
Oh yeah, she booked a party.
Yeah, she booked a party. And how good was that party?
It was like 5 something, 6 something.
Nice.
Because she wrote a thank you note. Okay, so you can write the notes. You don't have to call them, but if you're gonna do the phone calls and say, I just called to say thank you. It was so nice meeting you at Founder's party.
And I didn't pay for postage. I gave them to the host. So when she passed out the things, it was like a present, because it was like a thank you card in the
Good.
the bag.
Smart.
I like that. So, did you get any other responses from your thank yous?
No.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. It doesn't mean it won't ever come, because it can come later. There's lots of things. Okay, so I want to get back to this Power Hour binder for a little bit. So that's the customer care section of your Power Hour binder. So you can understand what that section is all about. That's why we talked about it for a little bit. Okay, so this is what happens. You have everything in your Power Hour binder. I showed you how mine's laid out. You can put different sections in different places. You can put customer care first. Maybe you think that's really important to your business. That's going to take your business into next month and the next month and the next month, and you're going to keep getting more and more bookings, more and more sales, et cetera, et cetera. So you could put that first if you want to. You could put your potential consultants first. It doesn't matter what order you put it in my opinion. My opinion is that you have it in one place, and this is why. How many? Raise your hands again if you have a 15-minute window in your day somewhere along the way. Okay, so I have 15 minutes. And